Good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Jacobs. This is there we go. I lost my mic for a second. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. Sorry about that. On the Wednesday of February 28th. It's not late leap year. Okay, February 28th, 2023. Got my old friend Paget Hetherington here, who's the Vice President of Marketing for Gaggle. Okay, Gaggle is, as you know, handles, I want to say this right, they are so important these days. I cannot tell you, which is why I'm so thrilled to have Paget here to talk about what's going on over there. There's a real serious mental health crisis, and Gaggle can help you monitor that amongst your students, okay, and notify you if challenges begin to arise. And I cannot tell you how important this is these days. SEL is so important, okay? Student suicide and depression are up, all right? And there are tools that can help every single school, okay? Gaggle's one of them, and it's a darn good one, and Paget's here to talk about it. We're going to archive the show over at ace-ed.org. Okay, that, as you know, is our home website, the American Consortium for Equity in Education. We're proud of what we do. We just made a lot of big changes over at the website. Go over there and check it out. It's really very exciting for us. And, of course, we have our magazine over there. Just scroll down. It's Equity and Access, Pre-K-12. Click on the cover. We invite you to join with us. Everything we do over there is free, and we work very hard about equity. If you're concerned about that, please. Okay, get in touch with us. As I say, it's free for educators over at ace-ed.org. And we've made some big changes at the website. I think you'll find it very, very exciting, okay, and very easy to scroll through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So go visit over at ace-ed.org. Enjoy the magazine, all our podcasts, and everything else we do over there. We'll archive this podcast there as well. And I feel like Ed McMahon. Here's Paget. Hi, Paget.
Hi, Larry. Thank you thank you so much for inviting me to join the show today. I'm very happy to be here talking with you, and thank you for that nice introduction, explaining a little bit more about what we're doing here at Gaggle. So,
what you guys do is so important these days. It's unbelievable. You know, I just realized I'm getting old because I just did the old introduction to the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. With that do, which nobody who's listening probably is old. We're the only two people old enough to know what the heck it is, I think, Paget. That's all there is.
Yeah, I recognize it. I recognize it. I do. I recognize it.
Showing my age.
So,
I gotta tell you, it's unbelievable.
No, we bring wisdom and experience, Larry. That's what we're bringing to the table.
We do. Yes, we do, okay? We have 35 minutes of wisdom. Here we go. First of all, I want you to know this, right, Paget, because my old friend Paget, everybody moved to Florida from Boston, okay? And I want you to know it's snowing its bags off up here in New England. Snowing like crazy today. Right.
Right. It's 78 degrees here. 78.
Right. It's warm here, too. It's 20. And... And we're supposed to get 8 inches of snow. I think Boston's getting about 3, and up here in Maine we're going to get about 8, which really doesn't matter. Okay, but I just thought I'd make you feel good about Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, I know I miss Boston, but not right now. Put it that way.
I always tell people come visit Maine, but never in February or March. That's all there is to it. Okay,
right.
It's that simple.
That's it.
Yeah, unless you feel like skiing the mountains, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay, or going winter surfing. My son does winter surfing, but we won't get into that.
Snowshoeing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I tell you? All right, let's get into this. We're having a good time, but this is serious stuff. It's all about student mental health and monitoring it. Okay, and will you tell everybody about Gaggle? Okay, you'll do a better job than I do. Just give us the overview. And I know you have something called Reach Out, but just tell us about the generic Gaggle right now, what it does.
Sure. Yeah, and you did a great job. Thank you at the beginning there, Larry. But yeah, I mean, essentially what we're doing at Gaggle is really trying to determine when kids are in crisis, and we can do that with a combination of technology and people, and we can see when kids are writing things in their school-provided technology environments about things such as suicide ideation or depression or possibly thinking about hurting other people, drugs and alcohol, bullying, that sort of thing. And as soon as we see something, we determine the severity of it. We have 2 levels of humans who review all of the stuff that the technology is flagging. And then we will, depending on the severity, immediately call a school district to get them to, go on the path of trying to get the student whatever help is appropriate for that particular kid. So that's what we do. We've been doing it for 23 years.
Yes, you have.
And yeah, and we've been really seeing a huge increase in, what's going on, prior to the pandemic, but people talk about the pandemic having really affected and increased student mental health issues, but it was an epidemic even before the pandemic, right? But it's clearly gone, in the wrong direction since then as well. So, we really just want to try to help these kids. And the first step is to try to figure out who's struggling. And nowadays with, technology and everything, when they're on their phones and their computers and they're not going down the hallway and talking to a counselor, they're kind of in their own world with the technology environment. So, they need help. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
They really do. And explain if you can, and this is a key thing because we're always talking about, and this is a big concern among CTOs of school districts, et cetera, student privacy. All right. And I don't know how this fits in.
Right.
Let me ask the question. You said a few minutes ago that you can look at what they've been writing, okay, and find out, if there's an alert in there. Okay, something you need to be concerned about. But my question is, how are you accessing that writing? I just want to make it clear for everybody. Okay, because there are all these security questions out there. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. So essentially what it is that we're looking at what kids are writing in their school-provided technology environment. So that's a very important thing to explain. So we're not looking at their private, email accounts. We're not looking at social media at all. We are only looking at, whatever, it's device agnostic. So it's wherever they're signing on using their school-provided email account. So think Google Docs, think email, think, even PowerPoint slides and Google Slides, so it's either the Google or the Microsoft environments. And so first of all, it's school-provided technology, and school districts are required to monitor them to make sure that the students are safe. And so that's SIPA, the Child Internet Protection Act. That's something that was passed at least 2 decades ago, and that, school districts are required to make sure their kids are safe in their online environment. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing is, the acceptable use policy that school districts have their students and families sign at the beginning of every school year includes the fact that Gaggle is part of the plan.
Good.
Parents and kids are aware that we're there, and we very much encourage and support school districts in that messaging, providing, letters and content that they can be sharing with the parents in newsletters and on their websites and that sort of thing. So, we can't tell them exactly what to do, but we can, strongly encourage that they communicate with the students and the parents about Gaggle being present. So, that's kind of how it works. And, to answer your question, that's exactly how we're able to, preserve the privacy and everything of the kids. The other thing to mention is that, we're not gathering any personally identifiable information, also known as PII. We only know enough information so that when we call the school district with an emergency, they can find the kid who's struggling. We don't know anything else about that particular student. We don't know their gender. We don't know their age. We don't know, anything. So it's just really whatever the indicator is for that particular student.
Just the content and the name, basically. Okay.
That's right.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting. And I have to ask this: you work with a school district, okay? We have to know this. Where are the challenges? Are they in elementary? Just from your research, are they elementary? Or are they middle school? Or are they high school? Where's the challenge? Just generically across the board.
Yeah. Sure. So we. Up until the pandemic, it was primarily the middle and high school age students that we were seeing most of the challenges. And then the pandemic hit, and the number of kids that were in the elementary school age group went through the roof. And there was a couple reasons for that. One of the main reasons is the sort of logistical reason that these kids were being sent home with computers because of the pandemic, so there was a lot more elementary school kids online, so it kind of made sense. But since the pandemic, I'm not going to say is over, but it's kind of everything's calmed down a little bit and gone a little bit back to normal. Right. I mean, it's never going to be the same, but the elementary school kids aren't using the computers as much at home, but we're still seeing a very high incident rate for elementary school students. So it has gone way up. I mean, the year between the prior year before, I know it's crazy. We saw a 252% increase from one year to the next for elementary school kids. So they definitely are struggling, and not as high of a rate as middle and high school, granted, but not to be not looked at. They need help too. So.
Yeah, it's just amazing. How hard is it for a school district? This is a weird question, to get used to using Gaggle. I mean, it's got to be kind of shocking. Okay, how do you approach teaching the school district how to use it and deal with it? It's really amazing.
Oh, that's it. It's funny. I was just talking to somebody about that yesterday. We work very closely with school districts.
Great minds think alike. That's why. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I know. The implementation of Gaggle is a whole process that we go through, making sure that, they know what to do with different types of alerts. We offer professional development that, kind of helps work through some of the more complicated and difficult scenarios. So we do that. But, we have a really, really strong customer success team, and, they're there day and night to help whatever comes up. And, oftentimes an alert, like students aren't doing this just, school hours, right? So, middle of the night on Saturday night, there's an alert, and we work 24/7. So we are there to help whoever the emergency contacts are determine, we can make recommendations, but also just, if they have questions a little bit more about what was it that was said, so they can get, the appropriate response. And we also offer this thing called after hours, where we can actually take care of the alerts weekends and, overnight, if a district just isn't, set up for that, or, for whatever reason, that's just too much. So
how do you do that? How do you do that? Do you have teletherapy or something, or you alert the parents?
Well, it depends on the district. We wouldn't necessarily alert the parents. We never are reaching out to parents, but if there's an alert that it requires an emergency situation where a kid is talking about doing something right away, we will be able to figure out how to reach the parents in that case and help. So that's kind of how that works. Generally speaking, we don't reach out to parents, but in this particular way, this after-hours support, we can do that. So, and if we can't reach the parents, we'll reach out to get a wellness check for the student. So
wow, it's scary. I got to tell you, it's really scary and get worse.
Yeah.
When you're out there in the market, okay, who is your key target out there, if I may? Okay, I'm thinking, is it guidance counselors? Is it the CTO? Is it the superintendent or the principals? Who are you usually talking to about this? Where's that concern within the district? Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Everybody is concerned. So it depends on the size of the district and the way districts are set up. But like a medium-sized district, somewhere between 10 and 20,000 students probably would be a combination of the various different stakeholders. So you'd have your CTO, of course, because it is a technology system to start with, but as much as the superintendents, the assistant superintendents, the directors of student services, the directors of the guidance counselors, sometimes even the curriculum,
Really?
So it just depends on, sometimes even the not so large districts, people wear many hats, right? And so, it really is the people that are the closest to the kids. And then we work with principals a lot. They're the ones who are what we call emergency contacts. So they're oftentimes the people that will get the phone calls. But again, that's every district does it slightly differently, and it's very much something that we work through with each one of our partners to better
and you can make
figure
it
out
fit
what's
to
the
any
best
district.
way.
I guess that's really the question. You
That's
can make
right.
it fit to any district's needs. It's to me, it's scary, it's frightening, and thank God it's there. Okay, because we just need to use technology to the nth degree to do whatever we can to help the kids and get people in there to help these kids. Because this mental health crisis, and there's another challenge with this, and this is key stuff, is that, I always bring this back. We're very concerned here about teacher retention. And the student mental health crisis is really, really a concerning factor. And it really is, it's what I would say, it's building up against teacher retention. It's not only teachers have to teach, okay, but they have to be aware of the school climate and how tense it is, et cetera, et cetera. And I think Gaggle is something, I mean, maybe, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I just think it's important in that context that it's a vicious cycle out there. Everything matters, okay? And we can't afford to lose any teachers, and the less pressure they have in terms of the whole school atmosphere. Okay. Am I on the right track here? You see that too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I do. And I think one of the things we see is that, sometimes our district partners, one of the key reasons why they're bringing us in is to actually relieve a little bit of the pressure on the teachers. Because teachers who know that Gaggle's in place, they know there's a safety net there. And there's something really kind of reassuring about that. They obviously are still looking over their kids' shoulders to make sure that, trying to see how they're doing, but knowing that Gaggle's in place means that there's another team that is there to kind of help. And, teachers have a really tough job. And we actually see, a lot of the teachers that we work with, educators, whether they're teachers or, different parts of the building and district level educators, struggling with all this. It's not just the kids. So, we do things like we have webinars and various different types of things like that where we try to help support educators in this situation. And we get so many people joining those webinars because the educators across the board are just like, hey, tell me what we can do to help these kids and help me, help the educators. It's not just the kids. So that's definitely another sort of factor in the whole kind of conundrum of mental health in general. I don't know, did you see a couple of weeks ago there was a report that was published by the CDC. It was called the Youth Risk Behavior.
Oh yeah, the one that highlighted teenage young women. Okay, and the high point of depression and suicide. Yeah, I did see. I didn't see the whole report, but I read it like from the New York Times, and scary stuff.
Yeah,
scary stuff.
It is, and that was just kind of confirming everything that we're seeing at Gaggle. I mean, it was like 60% more young women and girls have reported seriously considering suicide from 10 years prior.
And I just read, right after that report, there was a report of a young lady who was being bullied, in New Jersey. And a lovely young lady, 13 or 14 years old, she wound up killing, it was national news, she wound up killing herself. I mean, my God.
I know.
And you know what that does
sad.
to it. I don't mean to. I just got to put it a little more a wider perspective. Okay, as horrible as for the family and our friends and all that, but for the educators, you go into school every day.
I know.
I mean, that's an emotional thing.
I know.
Like, the more we can do that.
To alleviate that, like stop it and alleviate the pressure. I mean, one of the things that we've seen year over year, it's like from the last school year, from the prior school year to last school year, we saw an 118% increase in harassment and bullying. And it is like gone crazy. And that's, normalized data. That is taking into consideration the increase in our size of students we're supporting. So it's truly an 118% increase year over year. So the whole bullying thing is just out of control. And, so at least we're another, way of trying to
You're another layer of protection. That's the way I look at it. You're another layer of protection.
That's right.
I mean, it's that simple.
Exactly.
And in good conscience, the school districts have to have every layer of protection they can afford, because the cost of not doing something exceeds whatever you're talking about in terms of dollars. The cost of the other side is beyond words. Okay? Not that you guys are so expensive. I don't mean to say it that way. But, seriously, they got to really... Yeah.
We're not expensive. But putting all that aside, the cost of one student's life is not, that's just not a thing that anybody would ever have thought that, oh gosh, I should have, or whatever. So
if only.
And all, it's not exactly. And all the districts that we partner with, they'll be getting alerts within the first couple of days, if not sooner, and they'll be, very happy that we've literally helped them save a life within, very quick time period. And what would have happened if they hadn't have had Gaggle, So
that's right.
It's just really important.
By the way, everybody, it's gaggle.net. I don't think I actually mentioned that. It's gaggle.net. You should just know that. You wanted me to ask you, this is interesting on my cheat sheet here. You wanted me to ask you about something, I think it's a new program of yours. It's called Reach Out. Is there a new program?
Yes.
Talk about.
Yeah. So, a lot of the things that we've just been talking about over the last few minutes is us alerting school districts to when there's a crisis or a student struggling. Our founder and CEO, Jeff Patterson, has always, wanted to not just be part of the alerts, but also we want to be part of the solution. So he and us, we've been talking to school district leaders around the country about what else can we do? And so we have a couple of different things that not only do we, we can see when they're struggling in their online environments, but now we've just launched this service that's a crisis line. So it's called Reach Out, and it's in partnership with AWS. They're providing the sort of technology side of getting the calls to the right, And basically what it is we provide a local number to a school district that a student can call, and then as opposed to a national number. And so the local number, we will then man the line, and it will be we will be able to provide that student with more local support, but also national resources. And then we can let the school district know the next day that we're hearing from kids about particular issues. And it can be anything from, they're getting bullied, they're concerned about a friend. It doesn't have to be life-threatening stuff. It can just be somebody to talk to, literally somebody to reach out to. So we started that, and, it's just like another way to help the kids. And then the idea is we have another service called Gaggle Therapy, where you can actually, as a school district, you can sign up with Gaggle for teletherapy services. So we can provide teletherapy to those kids who are having difficulty. So whether they're the kids that call up on the crisis line or that we are finding alerts for, we can help, get therapy to those kids anytime, weekends, after hours, via video call. And we work with the districts on like a retainer-based model. So, it helps kids who maybe are underinsured and that sort of thing. And it also helps kids whose families can't necessarily get them to a therapist. And as we all know, there's a huge shortage of therapists. So we're just trying to help be part of the solution, not just be, saying there's a problem. We want to help fix it. So that's what that's all about.
Is Google Therapy available?
Gaggle.
There's a
Gaggle.
lot of
Gaggle.
What did I say? Google? I'm sorry. Gaggle. Forgive
You
me.
did. I know. People do that, and I have to always correct them.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I don't know why I did that. I know who I'm talking to. I just did that one. Is Gaggle Therapy? Sorry. Is Gaggle? I never did that. I never did that with you before. That's weird. Okay. Is Gaggle Therapy available? Okay. There's a lot of teletherapy companies out there. Okay. Are you guys available as a teletherapy company beyond an emergency situation like that, or an alert situation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we have school districts that we partner with for our therapy program that aren't even main Gaggle customers. Like, it doesn't have to be connected to an alert.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Gaggle, so the school district partners, they either can have both or one or the other. And if they're not connected, it's just the fact that, you may get in a Gaggle alert about, somebody and then decide that they need to get some support via teletherapy, and then you could connect those dots. But it is not at all like, you don't have to, you don't have, it can be for anybody in the district, and even some districts use them for their educators. So it doesn't have to necessarily
teacher
just be
retention.
students. That's right. Exactly.
It fits right there. Okay, that's so important. As we wind down here, we're talking about the broad generic things about Gaggle. Okay, and they're great. It's a great. How I feel about the product, but I'm just curious. And anecdotally, okay, you must have you've been there a while now. You must have a story that tells the tale of why this is so important. Just share that one, Paget.
Okay, I'll do that. Just to say,
please.
Yes, I have a. Sadly, we have a lot of stories, but happily we also have the stories because it means we've actually been able to save. The happy thing is that we've been able to help the kid. So I'll give you one. It's kind of hard to hear though, so I'll just say that up front if anybody's listening. So this happened. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened literally a couple of weeks ago. But I'm not going to tell you anything that would identify the student or the district or the state, obviously. So what happened was a student was in his Google documents and wrote very clearly a suicide note saying that, when you read this, I'm not going to be here anymore. And from the moment that he typed it into his Google environment, Gaggle got the alert from our technology. Wow. We went through 2 levels of human review, and we called the school district within 4 minutes of him writing it. Yeah. Wow. So then the school district, we called the emergency contact, and in this case, it was the principal for the middle school. So this was a boy. He was in 8th grade. So the school principal then called the mom. So she's on her cell phone with the mom who's on her cell phone. And the mom was having other issues going on with other kids. And they were how do you say, not homeless, but they didn't have their own place to live. So they were having some issues with that. And so the school principal then said, well, let me talk to your son. And so the mom basically took the phone into the bathroom where the son was in the bathtub. He had taken over 35. Yeah, he had taken over 35 Benadryl. He was in the bathtub in the water, and the phone, she put the phone like in the bathroom on speaker. So the principal is trying to coax this young boy out of the bathtub before he drowns because he's taken all these Benadryl.
Yeah.
And this principal is talking to this kid, and she knows that he's taken the Benadryl, and she's trying to get him to get out of the bathtub because she knows he'll drown if he doesn't. And so she hears the water swooshing around, right? And she doesn't know whether that meant that he had gone under the water or whether he was getting out of the bathtub. Well, she's talking to him, please, whatever. And he finally says, I'm getting out of the bathtub. So the swooshing of the water was him getting out, not drowning. So she kept talking to him, and then, I guess the mom had called 911, and the emergency services got there, and they got him to the hospital. And I'm happy to report, I just spoke to the principal a couple of days ago. This boy is doing much better. They got him all the help he needed. He's being, treated. He's being taken care of. And, we're so happy that thankfully the principal, honestly, the principal is the hero of the story because she had the wherewithal to talk him out of getting out, talk him to getting out of the bathtub. So, but honestly, if they hadn't have gotten that report, that call from us within 4 minutes, he would not be alive today.
Wow.
And that's not an exaggeration. He was ready to, he was not going to stay awake much longer.
You hear the story of the other side when they don't work out so well, but you never hear the story of when it does work out. Okay, and it's a sad story, but it's great to hear it has a happy ending.
Yeah,
okay?
They needed
help. And it has a happy
ending
ending for everybody concerned, including the principal, including their teachers, including everybody at the school, and all the kids' friends, and everybody else. But it's something you don't hear about. Okay, you don't hear about that side of it, and that's why it's important. We get this stuff across.
That's right,
wow.
and exactly. Even the teachers and like you said, the principal. Yeah. She would have been. it would affect you for the rest of your life.
Of course.
If this poor boy hadn't have made it, So it's not just. There's many lives that this sort of thing is touching, and that's sounds. It sounds like the story is so like heart-wrenching, but this is stuff we deal with every day. Yeah. And it's just good that we're able to.
Let me bring that into a wider perspective. It's stuff schools deal with every day. Okay, and we have to do. And I'll say what I said at the beginning of the show. We have to do everything we can to protect the kids, to protect our school, to protect our school district, protect our teachers. Okay, it's not just the student that's involved in this. And the products exist, okay, and we have to be aware of it. That's why this show like this is so important, Paget. I got to tell you, you're doing good. You're doing good. You can put your head on the pillow at night and sleep well. Okay, you're doing good.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And we're doing our best. And
you are. The best is pretty damn good. I got to tell you.
Keeping on. Yeah, and we always think at Gaggle that it takes a village. It's all of us together. It's that principal. It's the mom. It's the school. It's the teachers, and it's us. It's just like it takes a village. It's a team. So, that's it's just an important part of everything.
Good team.
So great.
Good team. I got to tell you, Paget, thank you. This was wonderful. Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
This.
I enjoyed the call.
Make sure we share this. I'm going to share it widely. Okay. This is great. We'll do more.
I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate you.
All right. You take care. I appreciate you
take
too.
care, Paget.
All right. Thank
Enjoy
you, Larry.
the warm weather, 78 degrees. Care. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. All right.
Bye.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
That's my old friend Paget Hetherington, everybody. She's VP of Marketing over at Gaggle, not Google, Gaggle, Gaggle.net, Gaggles, Gaggle.net. And they have a lot of great information over there, but please check out what they do because it's nuts out there right now. Okay, you need all the help you can get. It's just another layer of protection that actually works. All right, so what can I say? Gaggle.net. We'll archive over at ace-ed.org under the podcast label, and we thank you for listening. I'm Larry Jacobs, Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. Have a good day. And if you're up here in New England today, enjoy the snow.